Nathan Judo. I'm here with Wolves reporter Mr. Liam Keane. Liam. Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Brentford 0. 2 wins on the bounce, 2 home wins. We're almost there. That's just another massive result, wasn't it? And they've turned up and they were excellent really throughout, weren't they?
Yeah,
against a decent Brentford side.
No, against a very good Brentford side. You can't lie. I think they're a very good team in that, and they're well coached, well drilled, and got some very dangerous forward players. That's the second time this season the Wolves have got back-to-back Premier League wins. The first time was in February, Southampton, and then Liverpool back-to-back. So both under Lopetegui, and at the perfect time. You could not have chosen the timing better. Look, don't get me wrong. It was an end-to-end game for probably the vast majority of the first half. Brentford had some very good chances, but I thought Wolves. It was a very mature performance today. It was a very complete performance. They defended very well, looked after the ball in midfield, and created some very, very good chances. Some good chances before the goal as well. I mean, the one that stands out is Mateus Cunha going through. Should square it to Gomez, shouldn't he? Should maybe a tap it if he squares it, goes for goal. And then not long after that, Diego Costa, the man who I did say on the podcast.
Come on.
I didn't think he was going to score in a Wolves shirt.
But you did it. It was like reverse psych.
Yeah, exactly. But in my defence, I did also say, now that I've said that, he's going to score against Brentford, and he did. So you're welcome, basically. You're welcome.
Do you want credit for that?
What I'm trying to say is, you all owe me one. No, but I also did say that I really hope I'm wrong, and I'm really glad I'm wrong, because you can see from the celebration, he's worked really hard for that goal.
Both games, Chelsea as well.
Exactly. He played very well again today, and he deserved a goal. A little bit of luck, but he got it.
Had to ricochet off Raya, but look, like you say, I think everybody in the whole stadium just erupted in there because they really wanted to. The last thing we wanted, and look, pretty likely that Diego Costa won't be here next season, that he wanted to get a Wolves goal, and look, he scored an important one. I think we said as well on the podcast, if he was going to do it, he didn't want to be as a consolation or at the end of a 3-0 or a 4-0. This was the first goal to open his account in a huge game.
Yeah, the timing was perfect because it was at a time in the game, what was it, 27 minutes, something like that, when at the game
Brentford had a bit of a spell.
Exactly, the game was very, very much end-to-end. Wolves had chances, but Brentford were dangerous. Tony got a few chances, and Buoyed was causing problems, and they got some very good players going forward, Brentford, and it was at the perfect time to get that goal. They saw the half out fairly comfortably, and then the timing of the second goal as well, again, perfect. 69th minute, and it was absolutely.
You've had too many chocolate cakes today, young man.
How hyper. And it was perfect timing.
Yeah, brilliant timing, and like I say, when Totti gets brought down and it's an L penalty, and it's 2-0 Wolves. Yeah.
It should have been.
Come on.
It should have been.
We've got to talk about it first.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to go over it, but we've got to talk about it.
We don't want the narrative to run away with us now about Wolves, being on the wrong end of another decision. It's another decision that can go either way in the sense that it's subjective. It's an opinion. But as far as we're both concerned, it's a stonewall penalty.
So why has it not been given?
So the only thing I can see as to why it hasn't been given is that Totti Gomez is absolutely not getting to the ball. The ball is going out of play. However, it's 50-50. Totti and Raya both going for the ball. Whoever wins the ball first has got the advantage.
Sure.
Totti wins the ball, clear as day wins the ball, and gets taken out. It's a penalty, regardless. And I'll give you an example. Well, 2 examples. One, if the referee gives it, VAR doesn't overturn.
100%.
I think we can guarantee
100%.
that. Another example, if it's the other way round, Totti goes through Raya, and he gets the clearance, but it lands to a Wolves player with an open goal, guaranteed Courtini gives a free kick to the goalkeeper. Nailed on. So those 2 examples for me prove exactly why it's a penalty.
And people might say that the ball's got away from Totti Gomez, but Raya's not making that tackle on the ball or that play towards the ball where he's making contact with Totti if he didn't think that the ball's still in play and that there's an issue there, because obviously he's trying to clear it. So it's a penalty. It's a penalty.
And there was one here last season, I think it was Newcastle here, off the top of my head. And Sarr is a very, very similar situation, and the penalty was given. I need to go back and look at it. I've not looked at it, obviously, after the game, but from memory, I think it's very similar, and it was given. So for me, it's a penalty. And I think you can see from the reaction online, the vast majority of people agree.
Because the vast majority of people are correct. Unfortunately, it wasn't. But, and I want to say just before we move away from the penalty as well, very interesting on the byline here and on the Julian Lopetegui. Everyone was obviously very animated, as you would do straight away. You're caught in the moment. Lopetegui got all this stuff back, got them back in, and I think obviously they've learned from the situation. It's obviously not helping. It's not making any changes. So I thought very smart, because maybe on another day, if this was a month ago or 2 months ago, we might have had a bit of more of a situation on the bench.
Yeah, I think it's a smart move to do that, because Wolves, there's 2 reasons. One, the disciplinary record. Obviously, Pablo Sanz getting the red card recently and things like that. But equally, you don't want to create that reputation. And to be fair, there's been a danger of that.
Yes.
Because Wolves have been very animated, probably too animated. And for Lopetegui, credit to him, it was a smart decision. Just calm everything down a little bit. Wolves are still 1-0 up. And in the end, fortunately, it didn't make a difference to the scoreline.
And Super Sub Hwang probably will not score an easy goal in his career, but
The Newcastle one, that's goal.
yeah,
probably even easier.
Probably. I mean, you can't 2 in 3 is absolutely terrific.
I know.
But Matheus Nunes, who again I thought was excellent, he really was. And we're going to have a discussion. We'll have a discussion in the week about, no Ruben Neves again today. The 2 huge wins back to back. But look, Neves comes into the team next week. I'm sure he will do. However, another excellent display from him. Yes, it was. It wasn't centrally, but I thought he did his best work centrally again. Set up that chance, and Hwang couldn't miss. But brilliant. And look, if he's going to come on and start scoring goals, then that's fantastic.
And these are the kind of moments that we want from Nunes, and we want them consistently.
Yes.
We had it last week. We had another very good performance today. There was a moment in the first half. He picks the ball centrally, makes a superb run through the middle, and Jensen gets his first booking there. Well, he's only booking. There was an argument. He could have got. Yeah, exactly. But he got his booking. A very similar situation, albeit this wasn't a typical Matheus Nunes run where he opens his legs and he strides through. This was in a tight area on the right flank, and he's got to be very clever to dance around the defenders. And he's got the ability to do it, but we haven't seen it very often. And he did exactly that. It was perfect. Past 2, 3, 4 players across him, which gets cleared directly into the path of Hwang. It's an easy tap-in, but he has to be in the right place at the right time. And for him now, as you say, 2 in 3, both very similar goals where he's got a little bit of luck, but you've got to be there to score.
And it was a perfect situation. You got Hwang on the pitch, you got Damatrao in the pitch stretching. They can, put the ball down the line. They can chase lost causes. They can catch them on the break. Brentford couldn't commit too many players forward. You got Jean Moutinho, who's just making sure things are stable in the middle of the pitch. It was the perfect situation for Wolves today. I mean, absolutely brilliant. And the execution of this today was fantastic.
Yeah, spot on. And you mentioned the last few minutes there. I think highlight that. Moutinho did well when he came on, as did a few of the players.
Closed the game out.
Exactly. But they managed the game. They managed the occasion perfectly. They could have very easily conceded a late goal there, and then it's a very nervy last few minutes. And there was a couple of chances where Brentford, came forward. There was one opportunity. Mbuemo again racing forward. Max Kilman matches him for pace and then makes a superb block. He was excellent again today. And they managed the game and the occasion perfectly in the final minutes to get another clean sheet, which hopefully means some more pizza for us.
Oh, happy days. It is.
Look, that's obviously not what
And fries.
And fries. That's obviously not what I'm thinking of.
No. Well, you are.
Well, maybe a little bit. But no, Wolves managed the occasion and the execution of that was perfect.
31 games played, 34 points now. There's a bit of a gap opening up. That's 7 points between them and Everton/Forest in 17th and 18th. So better goal difference as well. Things are looking good. Look, they're not there yet. Of course, they need 3 more points, 4 more points. I mean, they want 40, of course, and I think they will get to 40 actually. But it's huge. That's a massive win, isn't it? I mean, there was good as you'd have think. You can't see them losing 7 on the spin now.
It's a massive step forward, isn't it? And for me, my biggest, I suppose, challenge is the way to phrase it, that I put to this Wolves team before today's game, was you have to take advantage of the buffer that you had yourself. You had a 4-point buffer before the game, and in previous months they've been guilty of not taking advantage of that. They've gone and
lose that normally,
exactly. They've gone and beaten Southampton and Liverpool in February, lose to Bournemouth. They go and beat Spurs, lose to Newcastle and Leeds back to back after that game. They get a point against Forest, they beat Chelsea, and if you look at the pattern, they lose today, and they've taken advantage of that buffer that is there in front of them, and they've extended it even more now with the results elsewhere. So they've given themselves a really, really good chance, and that's the biggest plus for me.
And for me, the biggest plus as well is that they're playing good football, Liam. They're playing really well at this moment in time. It's not as if they're scraping a win or it's an ugly game and they're getting a 1-0 win. They're winning, but they're playing attractive football. The confidence is up, obviously, and they go to Leicester now, and then they've got Crystal Palace after that. You win one of those 2 games, it's done really. It's kind of done. So they can go to Leicester now full of confidence. They can play against a team that's under massive pressure again, who have just changed their manager to Dean Smith, and they can go and play it. And Lopetegui can say, "Here you go, guys. Go and play full of confidence. Take your shots." And I think it's a great chance for them to go and make it 3-3 next week. It's just a nice breath of fresh air. We can start to breathe again slightly, can't we?
A little bit, yeah. And not only is it the buffer in terms of the league and the points, but it's a little bit of breathing space with the games to go. Now, you don't want to take your foot off the gas. Of course. You want to take advantage of the next 2 games. Who, to be honest, if Wolves didn't win these last 2 games, these next 2 coming up would be absolutely monumental games. They're still important, but it's a little bit of the edge taken off, and Wolves can relax a little bit. But don't take your foot off the gas. You've got to get the points. You've got to get yourself there. And that will be the message that Lopetegui will give, no doubt, after the game when we go and see him in a second. Because he will say, look, we're not there yet. We've still got 7 games to go. We've got to get over the line. But I think we're both confident now. We can take a little bit of a breath on what we're going to do.
Wolves fans want to watch this video, which is a lovely 7 or 8 or 9 minutes. I don't know however long it is. What do they need to do, Liam? What do they need to do?
They need to go.
Go on, plug it, sell it. Speak to the camera.
Subscribe to the newsletter.
Yeah.
We mentioned it on the last podcast. There's some huge news coming.
Ouch! Monday.
Is it going to be Monday?
Monday.
Monday's the day.
Monday's the day. But you're not going to get it if you don't subscribe today, or if you're watching it on Sunday, tomorrow, or if you're watching it on Monday, it better be before 9 o'clock.
It better be early.
Yeah,
Get in there.
make sure you subscribe, and that's all we can say. Wolves 2, Brentford 0 for all the post-match reaction. Make sure you log on to expressandstar.com.